So this leads me to your latest release, which is magnificent, the Rock House Sessions.
Thank you.
And I like it for so many reasons. I really like it for so many reasons. First of all, Reese Winans. I mean, killer. You have two keyboard players here, right? Kevin McKendry and Reese?
Well, Kevin McKendry, we did it at his studio, which is called the Rock House Studios.
Yeah.
Hence the name, the Rock House
Right,
Sessions.
exactly.
He didn't play on the album, but he was the engineer, and we did it at his place.
But Reese Winans, how did you connect with Reese?
Well, I had a bass player at the time named Richard that grew up with Reese and went to school with Reese, and they grew up in Sarasota, Florida, you know. So Richard was with me at the time, and you know, we had talked about getting Reese out to do a few shows with us, some bigger shows. And so, you know, at the same time I was preparing to do my album, and so eventually when I connected with Reese and got on the phone with Reese, I asked him if he'd be interested in doing my album, and he said, you know, yeah, sure, I don't see why not, man, send me some material. So I sent him some songs. We talked about a week later, and at the same time as this was going on, my manager and I were talking about a producer for the album, like who can we get to produce it.
Perfect.
So I never would have thought of a keyboard guy to do it. I'm a guitar guy, so I would think of, you know, usually you get somebody that, you know, knows what you're going after on the guitar and stuff. So I was talking to Reese about a week later, and he started talking about arrangements and song selections and this and that. And it hit me, you know, out of nowhere. I said, you know, Reese could be my producer if he's willing to do it.
Yeah.
And so I ran the idea by him. He goes, you know, I've never produced anything, but let me give it some thought for a few days. So he called me a few days later, really excited. And he goes, man, I want to do this. This is going to be great. And I've got an A team of music. He goes, have you ever thought about using a studio band?
Yeah.
And I go, not really. You know, he goes, well, you know, we have a limited time frame to do the album because the band he had available, Tom Hambridge and Tommy McDonald and a lot of these great players to do the album, were only available for like 4 days.
Oh, man.
So if we didn't do it in those 4 days, I would have to use some other guys, and they were all into doing it.
I'll be right over.
Yeah, so he said another advantage, you know, is that we'll get it done, and these guys will get it done in 4 days. And not only that, I had about 6 songs written for the album. He said, not only that, I can bring some songs to the table, because Tom Hambridge and Rick Vito and a lot of these guys are great songwriters.
They're great.
You know, besides being great musicians.
Yeah.
So he sent me a bunch of songs, and I had a bunch of songs to choose from, and that's kind of the way the whole thing happened.
Nashville scene. I mean,
Yeah.
and I love Steve Herman on the trumpet.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
All the men in my family are trumpet players.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm listening for all the different instruments.
Yeah.
And I have a funny Tom Hambridge story. Tom Hambridge is everywhere.
He sure is.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
And he lived in Boston for a long time. I'm friends with him.
Really?
I have his first album called TH and the Wreckage.
That's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I was in Disney with my family years ago when his kids were little. We were all at the Lion King. I come out, and there's Tom Hambridge. He was everywhere, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah,
You just run into him everywhere.
He's everywhere. I went up to New Hampshire to see Quinn Sullivan. There he is in the back,
Yeah.
drumming away.
Yeah.
So he's produces. He's the most talented fellow.
He's an amazing drummer,
So
producer,
happy he's on
songwriter, and a
this.
great guy. I
He's
was
a
really
great
proud to have
guy.
him on there. Yeah.
And it's right, Nashville. This is wonderful for this CD. And
yeah.
I know you were nominated for several awards on here, right? Is that right?
Not several, but one.
One. Okay. Well, I'm nominating you for several.
No, thanks.
And I do love the Choo Choo.
Choo Choo Mama?
Oh, Alvin Lee.
Yeah.
I could see you picking up an Alvin Lee song.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Gary Moore, of course. You know, and Willie Mitchell. What a prolific writer too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this is a very special release.
Thank you.
And we're
Thank
going to
you.
hear some from this tonight as well.
Absolutely.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Are you in the studio now again?
We're going to be on the road, you know, back and forth till the middle of September, and when I get back, I'm going to really go into songwriting mode, and I'm hoping to have an album released by the first quarter, maybe second quarter of next year.
You know, because I know you're going to Canada.
Yeah, we're going home, you know, next week from this tour. We'll be home for about 11 days, and then we go right back up
Goodness.
to Canada. And,
Goodness. Does your wife go on all your tours?
Not all of them, but she's on this one with me, and we've got
great.
we've got a bunch of new T-shirts, and you know we've got some a bunch of new merchandise.
Goody.
So she's running my merch table.
Excellent.
And she helped come up with a lot of the different shirt designs, especially for women. You know, like she came up with a turquoise
nice
shirt and a pink shirt and a
Boat
white shirt.
neck and right sizes.
Yeah, things
little
I don't know
sexy.
anything about. I would just get T-shirts, you know. So she's running my merch table, and she's doing a great job, and she's part of the team. So.
I'm happy
It's
to hear
working
that.
out great.
Good. I mean, you need everybody. And matter of fact, there's a fellow in Nashville named Al Cocorocchio. He used to live here, Black Rose Records, and he did Tom Hamburger's first release, and
really?
many other folks. And he does merch. He went down to Nashville, drives buses for the country folks,
Really?
and does merch. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
it's really good. You got to have the whole team.
It's important, you know, because I was doing it by myself before Karen was on the road with us, and I was doing it, but you know, I'm not able to sell merch while we're playing, and when I'm
Excuse me?
playing, she'll be back there selling merch. And you know, on my if I have a break between a couple sets or something like that, I was, you know, there's no break. I was selling, you know, talking, doing, and this way she can do it, and I can say hi to some people, and I have more time to talk
And
to
you
people
can
rather
focus.
than taking money.
You can
And
focus a little bit on other wonderful things.
Right.
Any advice? I like to ask this of musicians for the youth, you know, the young folks. Anybody out there who's thinking of getting into this business, playing guitar, getting an album together, what would you say to them?
I would say follow your dreams. You know, do it because you really want to do it, and it's a passion of yours, and it means something to you. You know, if you want to go out there and expect to make a bunch of money, you know, there's a great chance that it may not happen.
Right.
You know, but if you really enjoy it and you really like it and you have a passion for it, and you start realizing as you play other people, you make them feel good, then I would say just go out there and go for it and do it. But have fun doing it.
Have fun doing it. That's good advice.
Have fun doing it.
Have you been to Europe? Have you been to like Byron Bay, like Australia, those places yet?
I've never been to Australia. When I was with Hubert, we went to England, we went to Japan, Ireland, Scotland.
We got to get you to Byron Bay.
That would be great.
That's a great festival.
That would be great.
That's a great festival.
Yeah, I'd love to get back over to Europe. Matter of fact, I'm talking to an agent now about helping me get back to Europe, because after I played with Hubert, I went back over to England a few times. And then shortly after that, in 2004, Florida got hit with those 4 big hurricanes. And my house got hit by Francis and Jean, both of those hurricanes.
I'm so sorry.
And I had to move to Clearwater. I was out for a year. I couldn't. And I was supposed to go play the Maryport Blues Festival.
Right.
And I couldn't make it. I couldn't, because my house was destroyed. I was in the middle of moving. I had to take a day job for a little while. And it took me about a year to get everything back going and stuff. And it was a couple years after that, actually, that I did my 3rd album, which kind of got me back on the road.
10
Till Midnight.
10 Till Midnight. It came out of that.
10 Till Midnight, well, there was a lapse. My 2nd album was in 2005. We recorded it in 2004 before the hurricanes. It got released in 2005. After the hurricanes and all that, I was kind of out of the pocket for a few years. So 2008 is when we recorded 10 Till Midnight, and it came out in 2009. So I had a few-year lapse there, you know, and I was
devastating.
Playing pretty much just through Florida, and then I did 10 Till Midnight, and got back out on the road.
Thank God you're back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Know,
I'm
absolutely.
happy to be back.
Yeah, happy to be back. I know several musicians in New Orleans this happened to.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know.
I can't compare what I went through to what they went through.
Well, no.
But,
I mean, devastation's devastation, and hurricanes and trauma, and they're off, you know. I mean, look at Gatemouth Brown. He never really recovered, or Fats Domino, and a lot of folks just were.
Brian Lee.
Oh, goodness. You know, devastated. So we're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Let me ask you just non-musical. Tell me about this piece of jewelry. You have this turquoise.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
This is just something I pulled out of my jewelry box and started wearing again. I haven't worn it in years, but it's just something I bought it probably when I was in my 20s, a long time ago, and I used to wear it a lot playing music, and so I went through my jewelry box the other day. I said, I forgot about this thing. I just started wearing it on this tour again.
The energy called you.
I just like it. Yeah.
The energy called you.
Yeah.
So maybe you're coming back to your whole energy or something, you know, if you had it before.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Oh, yeah. That's plaster or something.
Yeah, this is here we go. Yeah, really. Well, listen, Sean Chambers, I am so thrilled to be sitting with you.
Thank you,
and,
Holly. Thank you.
You know, when you're in Florida, if I'm in Florida, I'm going to come down and find you too.
Please do.
I will, because I plan to spend some time down there, maybe in the winter. And I've never been to the Buckingham Blues Club.
Oh, you got to go check out the Buckingham.
I will. A boyfriend of mine's a drummer, and he keeps talking about it.
Is that right?
He's got family in Cape Coral, and
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great place.
Exactly, exactly. You know, home ground, and I know that Paul does some festivals down there, and Steve Harvey and all these folks put on some great festivals, and I want to be in contact with that fabulous Suncoast Blues Society.
Oh, they're great.
They're great.
And the Southwest Florida Blues Society as well, and over in South
the Funky
Florida.
Biscuit folks and all those guys.
Great.
So I'm kind of hooking in over there.
There's some great venues in Florida. It's really starting to take off, and like you said, Paul Benjamin does a lot of great work for the blues, but he's also got his hand in a few of the festivals in Florida now too, and he's really doing a lot. You know, I'm proud to know Paul and call him a friend and work with him, and he's a great guy. He's one of the people out there that are doing great things for the blues, and Florida's becoming really. You know, I had a guy that's from Chicago area the other day tell me that Chicago is still the #1 place for blues, but Florida's the second.
That's fabulous.
It's right there on the heels, you know.
That's fabulous. I know there's a gentleman named Woody who works real hard. He's from South Florida. He puts on some of the festivals up at, you know, up in the woods up there, you know, and so
yeah.
This is great. Well, listen, I really thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to go get set up for our show tonight.
Sounds like fun.
And we're going to hear some of this great music from these CDs, and I wish you all the best, and thank you for sitting down and talking to me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sean Chambers, I'm Holly Harris, and we are going to go play some blues right now.
Yeah.
I'm coming to you live from Don Odells Legends.